So you might want to pause your screen right now and do these problems, and then I'll go over them. So pause now. When you're doing this problem, you've got a fraction and a percent. You need to either make them both fractions or both decimals to work it out. Let's do it as fractions. So this will be 2/5 times 60% is 60 out of 100. Now, I can reduce 2 goes into 150 times. I can divide by 10 here and I'll get 5, 6. Can anything else reduce? No. So I multiply across, I get 6/25. Or you could change them both to decimals and multiply that way. Now, when you are subtracting decimals, you need to line the decimal point up. We've been struggling with these in our computation quizzes. So I'm going to do 6.000 minus 3.248. You've got to put these zeros because you need to borrow. The 6 becomes a 5, that makes that a 10, borrow 9. 10, borrow 9, 10. Now I can subtract. 10 minus 8 is 2, 9 minus 4 is 5, 9 minus 2 is 7, bring down the decimal point, 5 minus 3 is 2. All right, now, again, I would pause the screen, do these 4 problems. All right, the sum of a number p and 15, sum means add, that would be p plus 15. The product of a number y and 12, that means multiply, but when you do this, you need to write it 12y. I don't want y12, I do not want time symbols or anything else, it's just 12y. The difference of a number p and 6 would be p minus 6, and the quotient of a number x and 2 would be x divided by 2, and I would like to have it written like that. All right, today we are solving 2-step equations. Remember, back to solving 1 step, you need to do the same thing to both sides of an equation to keep it balanced. Now, the middle of the equation is the equal sign, and I like to draw that line down the middle. Look at the side with the variable. You get rid of or undo the number that is on this side, but that is farthest from the variable. So this plus 11 is on the side of the variable, but farthest from it. Get rid of that first. So the opposite of plus 11 is minus 11. And I'm going to do that to both sides. On the left, positive 11 minus 11 is 0. So I'm left with 4g equals 23 minus 11 is 12. Now, what's happening with the variable? Now we're on a 1-step equation. This is 4 times g. So what's the opposite of multiplying by 4? You divide both sides by 4. And look how I'm showing that. 4 divided by 4 is 1, so I'm left with 1g, which is just g, equals 12 divided by 4 is 3. Now, you go back to the original equation and check this. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 11 is 23. It does work. All right, let's do this one. Again, this is the left side has the variable. Which number on the left side is furthest from the variable? This minus 10. So let's undo that first, or move it to the other side. What's the opposite of minus 10? Plus 10. So add 10 to both sides. Negative 10 plus 10 is 0. On this side, I'm left with 3b equals 45. This is multiplying by 3. What's the opposite of multiplying by 3? Divide both sides by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so I'm left with 1b, which is just b, equals 15. All right, here we go. Now, the variable in this one is on the right side. So that is where I need to work. I need to get the variable on. Which one of these numbers is farthest from the variable? This minus 7. So, what's the opposite of minus 7? Plus 7. So add 7 to both sides, and I will get, this is 12 equals, that's 0. So 4a. And again, that's multiplying by 4, so the opposite is dividing both sides by 4, and I end up with a is 3. Here we go. Left side has the variable. How do I get the variable? This 13 is farthest from the variable. Isn't this a positive 13? Because there's nothing written in front of it. So to move this 13 over to the other side, the opposite of positive 13 or plus 13 is minus 13. 13 minus 13 is 0. Look what I'm left with. Negative 3D. Do not drop that negative. Negative 8 minus 13 is negative 21. What's the opposite of this? Is multiplying by negative 3. What's the opposite of multiplying by negative 3? You divide both sides by negative 3. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. So I'm left with 1D, which is just D, equals 7. All right. Draw your line down the middle. In this problem, on the side with the variable, the 28 is furthest from the variable. So how do I move this 28 over to the other side to get B alone? I subtract 28. Because this is a positive 28 plus 28. 28 minus 28 is 0. On this side, I'm left with B over 26 equals 2. Now, what does this mean? B divided by 26. What's the opposite of dividing by 26? You multiply both sides by 26. And this is 26 over 1. So, 26 divided by 26 is 1. I'm left with B equals what? 52. Example 6. Draw a line down the middle. I want to get n alone. So what's farthest from n on this side? It would be minus 3. So what's the opposite of minus 3? I add 3 to both sides. 25 plus 3 is 28 equals, I will, on this side, be left with 1/4 n. How do I get rid of that 1/4? I can do one of two things. This is 1/4 times n. I can divide both sides by 1/4, or, since I'm dividing by 1/4, don't I really need to multiply by the reciprocal? So I'm going to multiply both sides by 4 over 1. 1/4 times 4 over 1 is 4 over 4, which is 1. So I'm left with n on this side. 4 times 28 is what? 112. All right. Let's look at example 8. Example 8. What do you think you need to do on this left side first? You need to use the distributive property. So I'm going to distribute a negative 12. Negative 12 times k is negative 12k. Negative 12 times positive 4 is negative 48 equals, bring down your 60. Now, I'm ready to solve. What should I get rid of first on this side? The negative 48. So the opposite of minus 48 is plus 48. So I will have negative 12k equals 108. Divide both sides by negative 12, and I get k is negative 9. I want to add an example. I want to do this one. X minus 4, all divided by 2 equals 6. Now, write that down. Throw your line down the middle. I need to get the variable alone. On this left-hand side, what number is farthest from the variable? It's this 2. So, this means divided by 2. So, what's the opposite of divided by 2? You multiply both sides by 2. Look at this. This is 2 over 1. So, 2 divided by 2 is 1. What am I left with? X minus 4 equals 12. Finish solving one-step equation by adding 4 to both sides. So I will end up with x equals 16. Now, I'm going to do this same exact problem. Well, similar type problem. Right there. This is x divided by 2 minus 4 equals 6. Now, in this problem, what number is on this left side that is farthest from the variable?